It's Cardi B and Miss Tasha K. Okay, so for those of you guys that do not know, Cardi B is she's in trial right now because she decided to sue Tasha K over a defamation of character. Based on a situation that happened a few years ago, Tasha K did an interview with someone that I believe Cardi B was familiar with in her past. The person alleged that Cardi B had STDs, and Tasha K took the story and kind of ran with that. And she just kind of like went on a rampage about it. She added more sauce to the plate regarding this particular situation. So after sending multiple cease and desist, and Tasha deciding to wipe her arse with them, Cardi B decided to result in a lawsuit for defamation. So they are currently on trial. They're in trial now, and they're on like day 7. And it's been interesting. A lot of people have been saying that Cardi's attorneys are winning. They're saying that today it seems like Tasha K's attorneys may have had a win in there at some point. It's been a lot of stuff going on around this, but high key, the main thing is that people feel like the situation between Cardi B and Tasha K is going to change the game if Cardi wins. And it's going to alter how people go about working. Like they feel like not just some people, but all. When it comes to people that are in the same realm of reporting on entertainment, gossip, all of that stuff, they feel like things are going to have to change. People aren't going to be able to just go out here and spew lies, right? But I just feel like it's not going to change for everybody. I feel like it's going to change for those people that have been operating unethically and without integrity. But it's interesting that this is a part of the conversation and the topic, because when you do this type of work, you would have always thought that integrity was there. What are you guys' thoughts about this situation? Do you think it's going to change anything with how y'all do y'all work?
I don't think so. I don't think it'll change anything with how I work, because I have always tried to only report on things that other bigger blogs have already talked about. First of all, start there. I mean, I think we can all say that this shit took a dark turn, and we can go very deep into the psyche of, everybody involved in this situation. But ultimately, like, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. The whole situation is fucked up. What happened was fucked up. The Star Marie girl, we knew she was lying. Like, there was no way for her to, and not y'all, I feel like I have said this a million times. There was no way for her to have that information unless, like, and I mean to prove it, unless somebody had given, if she and Cardi had sex and Cardi gave her an STD, that's the only way she would be able to know that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been privy to her medical records. Okay. So how otherwise would you have known that unless she was all in her situation? And the evidence they used with, Cardi having cold sores, like, it was just kind of like, people get cold sores all the time. There are different types of herpes simplex, of course. Simplex C has nothing to do with sex, but ultimately Tasha may be able to use that to get out of this in some way because of the language. But because Cardi had that test and they proved that she didn't have any type of herpes, but then it can still be very low. So that doesn't, necessarily prove anything, but it was just all messy from the very beginning. And you just don't do shit like that. You don't get up here and just blast and lie and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Like, you don't do all of that. Like, because it's not worth it. Like, in real life, it's not worth the amount of energy you're now having to exhaust with all of this. Because this just seems like a lot, y'all. And it's going to go past the Cardi B situation from what we understand, because everybody keeps forgetting to talk about this, but y'all remember Tasha about to get hemmed up from the R. Kelly situation too, because she allegedly bought some information that she shouldn't have had, access to. Thank you, babe. So I just kind of feel like it's all unfortunate. But I, like I said in my video, I feel like I do see a change. She may not be admitting that she's changing, but I'm seeing a change. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that it continues in a line of, girl, just report the news, break your stories from people who can actually give you, firsthand information about something, and do better. Do better. That's it.
I agree 100%. You said, will it change the way I do things? I don't like to talk about gossip. I like to listen to a lot of gossip, but I don't like to talk about gossip. It's too much. So no, wouldn't change anything for me, but I definitely understand why Cardi is making an example of this whole situation. It's unfortunate that it got to go this far, but I definitely see why. But yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. I'm gonna be looking for the videos, figuring out how this case progresses exactly.
Yeah, what I've been hearing is some of the videos I've been watching, a few attorneys and stuff talk about this in terms of, the whole herpes situation or whatever. I can't recall what it was that you said, Bonnie, about how it could make this thing go away. Actually, what it sounds like, defamation has been proven. It just sounds like it's going to lessen and from what the attorneys are saying, it sounds like it's just going to lessen the amount that she has to pay. So at this point, that's what
Right.
they're working on. So that's just, I just think it's an overall messed up situation for everybody involved. Like, that's crazy. And then you just don't know what's going to happen after this case. If Cardi, confirmed, right now it is speculation, right? Even though we a lot of us watch and see that it's believed to be that the defamation has been proven, right? If she goes on to win this case and to win the money behind it, where does it go from here? Is she going to try to get her channel removed? I kind of don't really see that happening. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just kind of feel like they say Cardi didn't want to sue her to begin with. So I would think that she would have a bit of a heart and be like, nah, just pay me my money because you're going to need that channel to pay me. Like, I don't know. But it would be really messed up if she did get her channel shut down by sending this information over to YouTube and whatever else. So yeah, it's a messy situation, y'all. A lot of people are being dragged into the conversation. I believe they tried to bring up the incident between Cardi and Nicki. They tried to bring up the incident between the bar fight or whatever that happened. I think even Lovely T's name got mentioned for absolutely no reason, because it served no purpose at all. So it's been, girl, listen, I'm over here in Atlanta and wish that I would have got a chance to go and sit down in the courtroom so I could see what's really going on out here in these streets. Okay?
Wait, no. Did you hear the part about Lovely T today?
Yes, when she was on the phone with Tasha,
Yes.
like, we as Black women, kind of like coercing her to go along with what she was saying.
Right. And they said that
What
T
was
was
it?
crying, and that made, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, that low key made me mad. I'm not gonna lie.
Can
I
y'all
love
explain
T.
it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Lovely T and Tasha K were really, really close back in the
Mm-hmm.
day. But this whole Star Marie situation and then another situation with another blogger caused a rift, right? So initially when this shit happened, a lot of us kind of felt the need to choose a side a little bit. Like, if you were paying attention, and I was already kind of cool with Lovely T because I had met her in person. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I know how she rolls. She has integrity. She's not going to put out just any old bullshit. And she did a video explaining what happened with Tasha and how Tasha wanted to put out this interview with Star Marie when they all knew that Star Marie was lying about the shit she was saying about Cardi. And I knew that there was no way she could prove the shit she was saying about Cardi. So that was the main reason I would have never done it, because you can't prove any of this. And we would have to prove it in order to be able to be protected once we get up here online and say this shit, right? But once
Mm-hmm.
again, coming from a place of already working in journalism, so having this understanding, I think that y'all think that it's so easy to understand, but there are a lot of people that live in internet land that think they can really get on the internet and say anything and get away with it, because when they in the comments, they can.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? It's a different situation. But like, Lovely T, has always been like just such an incredible person. Like, she one of them people I don't let y'all talk bad about. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially not to me. Like, don't ever. She's the reason why the website is happening, to be very
Oh,
honest. Yeah, like T, like when I lost my channel, T sat on the phone with me for like an hour and basically just broke it down to me and told me, what I needed to do moving forward. And I kind of had the thought in my mind, but it wasn't until she said it to me that it made me feel like, okay, you need to really start pushing paid content. And when I started pushing paid content and y'all started showing up for me, I was like, damn, the website thing could really work. So that's really how all of this started in the first place. And this is the best way to protect yourself, is to not be, just on one platform, but have your own. So always shout out to T. Y'all don't know, because like, T be in the background. So we don't really, talking about how we fuck with people all the time to everybody. But like, since she came up and I heard that my friend was crying, I ain't gonna lie. When I was listening to that portion of them, talking about that, I got upset. I really, really did. But you know, yet again, that's their situation. That's they, you know, whole ordeal. And I
Yeah.
just want everybody to come out of the situation being okay at the end of the day. I know Cardi gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? But as a YouTuber, you don't want somebody's channel to get snatched down if it can be remedied in another way. Because
Yeah.
for every time that happens to one of us, we feel it like it could happen to us. So
Absolutely.
y'all talking about snatch her channel? No, like don't none of us really feel like that. Sorry.
Absolutely. I'll be honest, you know, I have absolutely no dog in this fight. I would, you know, hate for that to happen. Some part of me is thinking though, in all honesty, it's like, but at what point when a person sends you cease and desist, like at what point do you cut it out? So at this point, you're at you kind of like in a hand grip for them to do what they want, especially if they win this case. It's like, how bad should you really feel? Like, I don't know. Like, I won't want that, let's be honest. But logically, I'm thinking like, but you know, this could have been all prevented. It also was rumored that the judge even tried to tell her, you shouldn't even take this to trial. Speaking to Tasha, like you should, you know, settle this case, you know, outside of court. And then here we are. You know, there a lot of people have been reporting now, and it's one lady on YouTube that I love, and I just found her. Somebody sent her to me. Her name is Emily D. Baker. She's an attorney, and she literally goes through like the trial notes and reads it. So it's really unbiased. But what's interesting is that her thoughts are similar to a lot of the other people that I've listened to. And some of the people just don't like Tasha in general, you know what I'm saying? So of course they're gonna say, oh, she losing. But when I listen to this woman that breaks it down and how things are supposed to go, I'm like, okay, this right here is like really unbiased. So you know, hearing her you know, speak on that is I really like how she does her stuff. That's good. But when I listened to Emily D. Baker, she kind of talked about like the attorneys, you know, not doing that great of a job. And I did see where there was a story that Armand dropped that I am going to read to you guys. It was a review that they're alleging that Tasha wrote about her attorneys like back in June of 2020. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. And it's just interesting. And I'm not surprised it has Tasha's name next to it. We don't know for sure if it was indeed her, but you know, Tasha, what it looks like, she wrote this review about her attorneys back in June, which could be accurate because y'all know she ended up losing that $3 million lawsuit she had against the countersuit against Cardi. So I don't know if this was around the time that she wrote this because she was disappointed. But what we do know is she ended up hiring yet another attorney to come on and be a part of this case with her. But this is what she's saying. She says, I will not use this attorney again. Very disappointed with this attorney. I hired her to represent me in a defamation case, but I will have to seek another attorney. Olga has on several occasions shown up to court unprepared and unfamiliar with the facts of the case. She advised me to file a countersuit, which I did, but it is clear now that was it's clear now that was not the best move. After advising me to countersue, she then doubled back and dropped several counts in the countersuit. So why did she advise me to file it in the first place? At the last hearing, she was stuttering and tripping. I'm sorry, y'all. She was stuttering and tripping over her words, and it was embarrassing. I'm trying to get through this, but I'm thinking about somebody else. So anywho, an attorney is supposed to exude confidence in their client, facts. But it's like she is not fighting to win the case. She's just going through the motions and showing up to court. After paying her thousands of dollars over the 3 years this case has been dragging on, I'm no better off. She goes on to say, I'm counting my losses and moving on. I will not be using this attorney again. That is absolutely terrible. I just feel like that's unfair to her. I feel like at this point, you really just kind of like, you know, taking this woman's money. If this is indeed, you know, factual and this was written from, you know, written by Tasha, like that's crazy to me because y'all, I mean, even the judge has said that the lawyers seem to be incompetent and may need to go back to their first year of school. And I've also been hearing that her attorney really focuses primarily on like criminal law versus civil. So it's just a messed up situation. And I do hate that for her because it does seem like she's not getting like a fair shake, if that makes sense, because they don't know how to really handle this particular case. But yeah, I just wanted to come to you guys, and I know a lot of people was gonna ask, you know, if we was gonna touch on it, you know, because y'all be feeling away when YouTubers don't talk about stuff. But understand, we ain't about to be talking about no YouTube drama, honey. Understand that this is because it's attached to Miss Cardi B that we are actually speaking on it.
The
okay,
only reason.
Period.
The only reason.
Gave y'all a pass when we first, you know, when the stuff went down with the other panel or whatever they had going on. So we did that, girl. But don't get your stuff.
Don't think we're gonna be in a mess.
Period.
Don't think we're gonna be in a mess because we're not in the mess. We don't want to be in the mess. Keep us out the motherfucking
Out
mess.
the mess.
No,
Out.
stay. It's above me or
Okay.
below me.
Come on, it's
above, whatever.